You watch YouTube videos on social skills content. You try to improve your communication skills, your charisma, your body language, your tonality. You're trying to reduce social anxiety and just be better and have better relationships with people. Okay? But here's the thing, you're following the wrong advice, at least advice that is not completely correct. You're following advice that was brought to you by an atheist way of thinking, a materialist, physical way of thinking. Boom, my mic's now. Okay. And because of this, you're missing a lot of gains that you would have made socially. So I'm going to break this down for you in a way that makes sense. So what's popping right now? We got looks maxing. Body language analysis is another thing that I've seen online. And then another thing that used to be a lot more popular was pickup lines, right? What do I say? What are these things that I say? Now, all these things are, lots of people make content on it. I used to watch some of these videos, like, for example, Charisma on Command, right? And the thing is, it lacks this depth to it. It's very superficial. It's surface layer. Now, the way that an atheist looks at the world, atheist scientist, is he says, what are the observable phenomenon that in the physical world that I can measure? And then goes about making observations on the world based on this assumption that I can only use things that are like physical material and things that I can measure. Okay? If you believe in God, if you are a theist, you believe that there's a whole nother realm. Okay? So, if you're stuck in your head, if you're thinking about what words that you could use, that shows a lack of connection to intuition. If you're somebody that's stuck looking at the mewing jawline, the straight teeth, the eyes, the hunter eyes. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what hunter eyes is. If you're looking at all of that stuff, you're looking at a very superficial way of looking at relationships. And I get it, okay? I've been there. I've been there. So when I was younger, especially in my teen years, I had a lot of trouble socially. I would just stand there in a group interaction and watch as people had fun, joked around, spoke with each other, and for some reason I couldn't even say what I wanted to say, let alone if I did say it, it didn't really get a good reaction. I felt very disconnected from people, lonely, unsure of myself, and frustrated. Okay? And I was able to come out of that, be able to project my voice, to meet people, to make friends, right? I'm just smiling, just thinking about the journey right now. And I'm here to share that with you. Okay? This is a field that has been studied. I'm just going to say that much, and I'm giving you the sauce. Okay? Now, if you are just looking at those surface level things, it's not going to take you that far. Because sure, there could be somebody that has, according to the textbook of body language analysis, right? Or, whatever YouTuber or whoever, right? They do all the things right, body language wise, right? But there's still, maybe there's this missing component. They're tense, they're robotic. You could say loosen up, but that they can try and loosen up, but that won't solve the problem. Or maybe, there's this awkwardness that you can't explain. There's this in their facial. So for looks maxing, I forgot to go into this point, but I will dive into looks maxing right now. So for looks maxing, the idea is that you maximize all of your potential and all this stuff physically, right? Is there anything wrong with doing that? No. Like, I've been mewing myself for years, so I don't see a huge issue with it. But when you bring it to this extreme, it's this black pill seepage. You're trying to just optimize your physical, like, are you a woman? Like, what's going on, guys? You're taking the playbook from someone else and you're just trying to plug it in. It's not the right playbook. It's like you're a plumber and you're trying to take like the skier's playbook. Like, it's not lining up. You know what I mean? Totally different set of skills and advice there. So now, the reason that if you just look at the physical aspects, there's nothing wrong with that. Like it could be okay if you're doing it for like, it's an indicator of mental health, that you have decent mental health, that you take care of yourself physically. Okay. Also, there's a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, there's a man who asked him, I like to smell nice, wear some cologne, and I also like to wear nice clothing, especially when I come to the mosque and stuff like that. And then he asked, is this arrogance? The Prophet ﷺ said, no, it's not arrogance. Okay, so there is not really an issue with this. Okay, the problem is when you take it to the extreme and you have a black pill mindset and you think your value is based off of your looks. First of all, your value is judged by the creator. But what about the eyes of the people, right? Well, yeah, there are eyes of the people and there's ways around that. I'm going to break that down. So remember how I talked about intuition earlier? So most advice out there only accounts for the physical. So you'll have advice like stand 45 degrees to another man, or if you're facing a woman, face her head on. If you are... I want to give a quick example. Just came to mind about the other thing. It's like there's this guy, this like looks maxer guy online, and I recently saw like a post or a little clip, right? And it was showing him in a club, and he was like noticing he was getting attention there, and it was really like funny because it's like I think it was like, look, he got the ticket into the sort of thing and got the attention, but he didn't know where to go with it, right? So that, you see that attractiveness on the first hand, like it got him in the door, but it didn't get him all the way. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's kind of cool, like, you know, when you're socializing and you're learning that, you learn it like step first, you learn how to open and then hook people and all this stuff, and then you don't know where to take the interaction. Not saying you should go to the club, but that's what people do. But it just shows you that even if you are like, he's like a looks maxing influencer, right? So he's like, he looks like your Chad white boy, right? But he still wasn't able to, like, yeah, sure, he got that, but it's like, oh buddy, you have a whole road ahead of you. And that's what I talk about here on this channel. So some people account for just the physical aspect. Like, for example, I'm thinking like older Charisma on Command videos. I'm just using them as an example. They used to have things like, 3-second rule, where like you have to look at it's something about looking at a different thing every 3 seconds. Do I still agree with that? No, like I agree with some things on their channel, not other things. It's pretty cool. The creator of it, he talked about some of the limitations in his own teachings recently on a podcast. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think as a teacher, you're always trying to poke holes in your craft and build something stronger, right? So for example, things like that, right? And it only takes you so far. And then, there's like the words that you use, right? And this is a huge thing before, right? The pickup lines. What do I say? Right? And I remember after the Charisma on Command videos, it started having a little bit more of the tactics. So that's where you see it goes from the physical, then you have a little bit of like more mental, like what words do I say? How do I arrange these words to make it super interesting and stuff? And then after people start being like, you have to add emotion, you have to have humor, you have to have, you have to make it dynamic, right? And then it starts becoming a little bit of mumbo jumbo. Like people start talking. I know people recently they're talking about like vocal image. That's a new trending thing around these days. And sure, sure, like analyze it more from your limited brain. There's different levels of access to your brain, right? So brain waves and everything, right? So there's one that's just like it's just we'll just call it the rational thinking logical brain, and it'll only get you so far. But then you need to tap into that intuition like we talked about before. And this is the spiritual aspect. If you're a believer in God, you inherently, this makes you different from atheist materialist people, is because you believe in the supernatural, in the divine, in something bigger, and in something greater that ties everything together, that sustains life. And no, it's not the sun. It's not the sun, but it's God that allows everything to work. And there's realms that that is beyond our understanding, right? But we can understand it a little bit. We have hints at it. Every human being gives off an electromagnetic signal, right? From your heart, like your brains have signals. It's all waves, and I'm not trying to get into the science of it, guys, but you have a vibe to you. Okay, people can tell if you're sort of like a high vibration, very, at least socially, you're fun, carefree, passionate, or if you're just very dense, stuck in your head, and it's very hard to connect with people. Oftentimes there's limited beliefs associated with that. When you talk about the 3 types of hearts, oftentimes, if you're better, if you have a dead heart, you're going to have a hard time connecting with people. And then most people have the sort of the striving one, heart, and then there's the purified heart, right? So we know there's 3 types of hearts, and this is how it can affect how your ability to relate with each other. Okay, so it's also about emotion. If you think about also like why people want to connect with people in the first place, it's an emotional need, it's a human need. And if you're not connecting with someone, and you can also tell it's not going to be healthy for you, right, if you don't connect with someone, but you can also tell if you click with someone like right away, right? Humans are very good at reading this, and you're always sub-communicating. So the person that you are is always sub-communicating. Now, and then another thing is the way that you act, the things that you do. So who you are, what you do, plays a big role into this. And funny enough, right, that's also what God is judging you off of as well, as who you are and your deeds and actions, right? And your character and how you treat people. At the end of the day, yeah, you can do these little like psychological tricks to win someone over in the short term. But if you do want a longer term relationship, you have to be good at the character development, at managing conflict, at leading as a man. These are all essential skills that you need to have in order to do well with the people around you, take care of the people around you, right? I think a sense of humor is an essential one as well. Yeah. So, what is my point here? My point here is we've been conditioned to think in a certain way. Okay, for example, like when you go to school, when you're a kid, are you taught that like God created the universe? No, they're like, oh, there are these planets. Like you're not attributing the causation of everything to God. So you're missing a whole angle here. And that's the problem that we have done in this society. And there's problems of loneliness and not being able to connect with people. And it's just it's very painful. I know it's very painful for a lot of men, right? So when we talk about these things, we should be talking about it with the full depth of actual like real life, like how to actually get results, right? And I happen to be an expert in social dynamics and am working towards integrating Islamic psychology and spirituality into this. And it's all there. It's all there. You know, when you are, for example, having nur in your face, isn't that the best looks maxing ever? But how do you do that? You need a deeper connection with Allah. How else do you get better at interacting with people, meet new people? You know, say salam to the people that you know and the people that you do not know, right? And just to tie it all together, it's not. I hope you're still not black-pilled by the end of this video. I didn't do my job if you're still black-pilled at the end of this video. But I hope you can understand there's different dimensions. There's the physical dimension. There's the mental dimension. The people think about, what do I say? What is the right word? They're probably thinking in their head, right? If you're in your head, it's hard to socialize because you can't get into the flow. If you can't get into the flow, you can't tap into the vibe. The vibe is what you send on over to the other person that attracts them in the first place. You send out a good vibe, they are attracted. Man or woman, right? They're interested in talking with you, right? If you are not able to control your emotions, or influence your emotions rather, or process your emotions and feel your emotions, you can't bring up good emotions at will, how are you going to be able to transfer that over to other people? The law of state transference, right? Whatever you feel, the other person feels as well. So if you're dead emotionally, spiritually numb, and can't feel, and you're not vulnerable with Allah when you're making dua, and if you have like zero body awareness, and you don't move your body, or you don't work out at all, or you don't do anything physical, and you're just sitting at a desk all day, these are all factors. And if you sit around in isolation, your brain will be conditioned to it. You just basically won't be strong. So you think of it as being in the gym. You just won't be strong. You'll have trouble with higher stimuli environments where it's not just a screen with stimuli and audio. It's like 3D interactions, people, right? Energies, right? Competing dynamics, making decisions, thinking of things. Life is very dynamic, subhanAllah. So there's the emotional, and then there's the spiritual, right? Which we just tapped into. So understand the layers. There's layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Social skills have layers. Okay? So we went all the way deep today. Love to do a deep dive on these topics a little bit more specifically, and like flesh this out for you guys so you guys can understand and get the value. But no one else is talking about this. So that's my mission right now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Leave a comment down below if you have a specific question or concern. And hey, I'd make a video on it if you have something specific. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.